Welcome to our Starseed series. I'm Urania with Urania Heart Metaphysics.
And I'm Jackie B with Grow with Jackie B LLC and the Free and Fully Expressed movement.
This video series is where we break down the Starseed soul groups, sharing their key essences to spark your remembrance. And just keep in mind, you will likely resonate with many of these Starseed soul groups, yet there may be a few that are most dominant at this time in your life.
Yes, so let's dive in. So some people always feel that quiet pull towards direction, towards knowing when to move and when to wait, right? And when something feels just out of alignment. They might not always have the words for it, but their body knows that something is off, right? When timing isn't right, and when energy in the room doesn't match what's being said, this is like a big red flag. So in this video, we're going to explore the three star seed lineages that connect to the Orion's belts, Alnitak, Alnilam, and Alnilam, I think is how you say it, and Minnetonka. So these lineages often show up in people that who are sensitive to momentum, the movement in life, right? And balance and peace, and who really learn to orientate themselves internally, even when the world feels chaotic. So as you listen, just try to notice what comes up. Don't analyze. Just notice what's settling in, what's stirring, and what is softening inside of you. Let's dive into Alnitak. Alnitak are people that are really the initiators of life. This energy is all about direction, initiation, movement. And this is actually the easternmost of the planets or the stars in the three star belt of the Orion's belt. So they really feel the internal go signal before others do. And it's a sense that when something needs to move, it needs to move now, right? So waiting too long feels like the worst thing. It feels even worse than taking the risk to start with this star seed. And these people often are the ones that will volunteer to go first. They speak first. They try things first. They are the first to step into the unknown, so to say. Movement really regulates their nervous system, and stagnation creates this restlessness within them. That's how the anxiety and the irritability can all start surfacing, and they don't understand why. It's linked to this energy. And because of this, they can often feel misunderstood. And others may find them more impulsive, right? Or intense or labeled as too much. But that's really because what's happening here is their system is tuning into the momentum and timing of things. So the shadow that they carry is that like direction, it's direction alone, right? Carrying the direction alone. Like I'm the only one that can do that. And they put all that pressure on them. The feeling like if they don't move things forward, nothing's going to happen. But the gift is the courage and the initiation that they carry, right? The integration of this starseed really comes in when they learn they don't have to lead every movement or do everything by themselves. Really, this energy thrives when momentum is shared with others and not a solo act.
Indicators of Alnitak star seeds in the birth chart include themes of pioneering, instinctual action, and courageousness. Signs that may reflect these themes the most are Aries, Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. This is the most important if your rising sun and moon are placed in these signs and/or there are two or more planets in these signs. So Aries probably holds the most of this energy here, or the most representation of Alnitak starseeds, as they are masters of being present in the moment whilst connecting to their instinctual passions. They are definitely risk takers, willing to take a leap of faith, and incredibly courageous. They are also known to be the pioneers and so forth. And there is this saying that I tend to associate with Aries is that they act first and think later. So they definitely hold a strong representation within the Alnitak starseeds. Leo is the courageous leader with fiery passion, bold and action oriented. Once that fire is lit, they are great at sustaining momentum. And so they can take the lead and pioneer in their own creative way and then generate this just ongoing momentum and action towards completion of their goal. Scorpio definitely brings the intensity through their inner fire and deep passion. And like Leo, they're able to sustain momentum once they have a clear direction rooted in passion and instinctual desire. Leadership often finds Scorpio, even though I feel personally, and also from just connecting with many Scorpios, that they prefer to move as solo and silent operators at times. But again, leadership finds them. And so they are a great representation of Alnitak starseeds in that way. Sagittarius, they're definitely the risk takers and willing to act in the moment. At times, their energy is even known to be unstoppable as they are ruled by Jupiter. So once they really have that direction and that fire and that passion and that excitement, they could just go and go and go and go, right? And so that can also lead to impulsivity where they impulsively act on that excitement, or they feel that fire and they're ready to move. Very similar to Aries energy. And they are excellent initiators as they are natural born adventurers. So again, they are able to act in the moment, as adventure and anything new kind of excites them. And then they are able to keep up with that exciting momentum. Aquarius. So Aquarius, I feel Aquarius is in every one of these groups, which is interesting to note. But Aquarius, if you have any planetary placements in Aquarius and they're making aspects to any of the signs I just mentioned, so Aries, Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, then this can be an indication of Alnitak starseed connection. Aquarians are great pioneers, so they have amazing ideas and they're ready to act on them. They're ready to take the lead and get things going and organize the groups and so forth. So they're also initiators in that sense. And when they're really driven and connected and devoted to their vision, they can also be risk takers and ready to just like try it out and experiment and, take that risk. And so the connection with Aries, Leo, Scorpio, and Sagittarius will emphasize these qualities that I just mentioned. So planets to consider in reference to the Alnitak starseed group are Mars. Mars is the planet of action, of desire, of courage, of bravery. That connection or rulership of Aries and Scorpio really brings forth that ability to go for it with passion, with that instinctual nature, that instinctual drive. And at times that does include taking risks. So if you have a strong Mars placement or Mars in any of the signs that I just mentioned, this is a very strong signature of Alnitak. Jupiter is also a representation of a possible connection. As Jupiter, I associate Jupiter with the theme, go big or go home, right? So Jupiter is either all in, and when they're all in, they will expand and grow. And like, there's a lot of momentum that comes forth. And so with that go home or go big energy, or go big or go home energy, it really takes a lot of bravery and a lot of courage and the willingness to just act in the moment. And so if you have a strong Jupiter placement or in any of the signs mentioned, then that can point to an Alnitak connection. So take note that these themes may show up as strengths, but also can show up as shadow points that ultimately provide opportunities for connecting more deeply with Earth.
100%. Now let's shift to Alnilam. And this energy, these star seeds are all about balance, neutrality, really holding the middle, which I find very in sync because they are technically the middle star or middle planet of that Orion's belt. And these star seeds really are the balancers. They're the natural, they naturally see like the multiple sides of situations. They hold complexity without collapsing into extremes, right? They can hold the tension and the pull. In emotional spaces, they're often the calm center of things, right? They're the anchor point. They regulate everyone around them, even if it's unconscious. And because of this, Alnilam people really learn to stay neutral to feel safe, to pause their own needs so they don't tip too far in one direction or another, right? And they often are the ones to mediate conflict, soften the edges, and help others feel seen. But over time, this balance can turn into self delay. And so the shadow here, it's not necessarily avoidance, it's really self postponement, right? And the gift that they hold is that equilibrium, that clarity that can come through with that without being too emotionally charged, right? And so how they integrate is really remembering that balance doesn't require them disappearing, right? It's that their voice matters within the middle of everything. So this Alnilam energy really heals when neutrality becomes a choice, not a survival mechanism.
So I'm sure as Jackie was sharing the characteristic and qualities of the Alnilam Starseed group, Libra definitely came to mind. Like Libra is, I feel like this is all descriptive of Libra energy. And it will be the most dominant sign in reference to the Alnilam Starseed connection. Libra is all about balance and peace and harmony. They're known to be the negotiators, diplomats, and peacekeepers. And Libra can easily slip into people pleasing just for the sake of keeping the peace, trying to find the balance in the environment, trying to find the calm, the center point. And they may often also experience extremes in life as a way to master finding their center, their place of neutrality and peace. And so it really just strongly reflects that Alnaham starseed group. So another sign that really stood out to me is Gemini. Gemini has this instinctual ability to perceive multiple perspectives, as their core desire is to find the connecting point, the center, and how everything is linked. So in general, Gemini can communicate in different languages, energies, modalities, etc., which enables them to be the intermediary, right? So it can be the translator, the one that's connecting the different groups. They're known as networkers. They're the bridge in their own right. And so with these two, Gemini and Libra, you really want to take note if your rising sun and moon are placed in these signs, and or there are two or more planets in these signs. This may indicate some connection to the Alnilam starseed group. And when it comes to the planets that represent this group, we would really look to Venus. I feel Venus is the strongest as far as, I mean, no other planet honestly came to mind when I thought about balance and center. Venus is a very strong representation of this connection, as it is the planet of love, harmony, union, and peace.
100%. And that brings us to Minnetonka, one of my core pieces of me. And as you listen, if anyone that knows me will hear a lot of these natural themes that come through in my energy as well. So this starseed really is about unity, peace, and remembering home. It's the westernmost star planet in the triad of the Orion's belt. So the Minnetonkan energy is gentle, it's quiet, and it's deeply sensitive. Many of these Minnetonkan star seeds carry this subtle sense of homesickness. Not always necessarily for a place, but for the feeling, right? The feeling of home, the peace, the simplicity, the softness. Harshness affects them deeply. It's like unfamiliar, right? So loud environments, conflict, cruelty, emotional chaos can really feel physically overwhelming to their system. They often are the ones who long for life to be kinder, not because they're naive, but because their system it really is tuned into that unity and harmony. And so the shadow of Minnetonka starseeds is the wanting to escape, wishing the world would be different instead of learning how to feel safe within it. But the gift is that peace consciousness. So really for these starseeds to integrate, it's about learning how to anchor that peace here through routine and ritual, through gentleness, and really through nervous system safety. A lot of what I do. And so that Minnetonka energy really isn't here to leave the earth. It's here to make earth feel more like home.
Beautiful. So the indicators of Mintaka and star seeds in the birth chart include themes of gentleness, remembrance, and emotional sensitivity. Signs that reflect these themes that the most are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So of course that water energy is very strong. And this is most important, of course, if rising sun and moon are placed in these signs and or there are two or more planets in these signs. So Cancer, I would say that Cancer is the strongest representation of Mintaka Galactic Soul Group as they are incredibly sensitive and they value their sacred sanctuary for that emotional regulation. And really all three of the water signs really need that home and that safe container to regulate their emotions and to feel that sense of peace and balance within themselves. And cancers are considered to be the ones that carry their home with them. They're very nostalgic and sentimental. They are also known to isolate themselves when they feel emotionally overwhelmed. And so next we have Scorpio. What really comes to mind with Scorpio in reference to Mintaka is their quietness, the depth within them. Like there's so many layers and depths to Scorpio where it's like they really hold an entire world within themselves and they're very comfortable in their own energy. And also within the depths of their being, there's kind of almost like this generational connection, which in that self, again, it comes to having that home within you and having those connections and just being able to tap into your inner world, and also be able to connect, relate, heal to the world outside you from that depth within. And of course, they're incredibly emotionally sensitive and emotionally attuned to their environment and the energy within their environment. Pisces. So, Pisces is, of course, also incredibly sensitive, emotionally and energetically. They value love, kindness, and compassion. And they're often misunderstood by others as well as themselves, as they can easily take on the emotions and energy of their environment around them, making it unclear of like who they are and where they belong because they're absorbing everything. It's hard to really have a tangible sense of their reality, their physicality, and so forth. And so this can lead them to finding safety and isolation or even escaping, reality in some ways. So that escapism theme is very strong with Pisces, and even the sense of losing oneself, as their emotions and energies are outside of themselves and intertwined with the environment and all of that. There's really no boundary between themselves and the outside world. And so establishing their own sacred container is really important for their journey, as a Pisces soul and having that energy within your birth chart. So planets to consider for a Mintaka starseeds connection, of course, is going to be the moon, as it literally represents home, memories, the emotional cycle, water, sensitivity, psychic energy. So if you have a strong moon placement in your chart, or maybe the moon in any of these signs, or other planets in the signs making connection to your moon, that can be an indication there. Neptune is a beautiful representation of Mintaka energy, as I get with Neptune is like ethereal waters, and it reflects the energy, in the sense of the Mintaka galactic group. And when it comes to compassion and universal love, and it's like, again, finding that everything is within, like home is within, divine energy is within, love is, everything's coming from within, like there's a whole world within you. Neptune really helps to guide to that realization, as Neptune blurs the boundaries of reality, which can also lead to misunderstandings and easily slipping into other realities, or not having, feeling like you have a solid ground, or you can have a tangible home or something just to like root in. Neptune tends to bring up that challenge or any shadows associated with that. So again, you want to just take note that the themes here may show up as strengths, but also can show up as shadow points that ultimately provide those opportunities for connecting more deeply with Earth.
So if one of these starseed lineages are stirring something within you, You don't need to know the name or claim it that way. Just notice what your body is recognizing, what the remembrance is coming up, right? And just soften. Notice what feels familiar and just go from there, right? Just be open to what you are here to receive. It's not about making an identity about it. It's about opening up the invitation and seeing what comes through. That is what the whole point of this Starseed series is just giving you a little more activation nuggets, so to say, of remembrance for you to try on and see where your resonance lies.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you everyone for watching our Starseed series, and stay tuned for the next video on the Starseed soul groups. And also don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy this content.